At exactly 02:14 hours on March 18, 2026, the suffocating, pitch-black silence of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait was shattered by a technological ambush that military analysts had dreaded for a decade. The Panamanian-flagged superfreighter Colossus Vanguard, a 300-meter Leviathan carrying thousands of tons of critical liquefied natural gas, LNG, suddenly suffered a catastrophic propulsion kill. There was no explosion, no towering geyser of water, just a sudden, violent shudder that sheared its massive drive shaft in half, leaving the floating bomb dead in the water, drifting perilously close to the hostile Yemeni coastline. But this was no mechanical failure. Lurking 15 meters below the dark, rolling swells was an Iranian-engineered Manta X unmanned underwater vehicle, UUV. This autonomous, stealth-coated kamikaze drone didn't pack a conventional warhead. It was armed with a directed cavitation acoustic pulse generator. It had silently latched onto the freighter's hull, emitting a localized, hyper-frequency resonance wave that physically shattered the ship's hardened steel drivetrain from the inside out. The global supply chain had just been taken hostage without a single shot fired, and the trap was officially set. Immediately, the distress beacon screamed across the emergency VHF channels. 30 nautical miles to the north, the USS Mason, DDG-87, an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer operating under the U.S. Fifth Fleet, caught the Mayday. The ship's Combat Information Center, CIC, was bathed in the harsh, tactical blue light of the Aegis Baseline 9 displays. The order was instantaneous. The Mason's 4 General Electric LM2500 gas turbines roared to life, churning the sea into a white-hot froth as the 9,000-ton warship accelerated to a flank speed of 32 knots, vectoring straight into the kill zone to shield the crippled civilian vessel. But as the Mason sliced through the heavy maritime layer, the tactical picture began to decay with terrifying speed. At 02:22 hours, the ship's AN/SLQ-32V 7 Surface Electronic Warfare Improvement Program, COIP, Block 3 Suite, detected a massive, unnatural spike in the electromagnetic spectrum. It wasn't coming from the shore, it was coming from the Colossus Vanguard itself. The crippled freighter was a Trojan horse. Hidden beneath the reinforced tarpaulins of the freighter's upper deck cargo, a highly classified, containerized electronic warfare system, a heavily modified variant of the Russian Murmansk BN, powered up, fueled by the ship's own massive auxiliary generators. In an instant, a 40-kilometer dome of aggressive electromagnetic white noise erupted. The Mason's SPY-1DV radar screens fractured into a chaotic blizzard of false targets. GPS signals were violently spoofed, and the Link 16 tactical data network connecting the destroyer to the carrier strike group over the horizon was violently choked out. The American warship had just sailed blindfolded into a knife fight. Do you think a single, isolated destroyer can survive a coordinated swarm in a zero-visibility electronic blackout? If you think the U.S. Navy has the hardware to break the jam, comment Aegis below. The nightmare escalated at 02:26 hours. With the Mason's long-range sensors blinded by the jamming dome, the true teeth of the ambush were revealed. Surging from the jagged, radar-masking coves of the nearby coastline came a swarm of 45 unmanned surface vessels, USVs. These weren't the crude, explosive-laden fiberglass skiffs of the past. These were low-profile, semi-submersible drone boats coated in radar-absorbent materials, skimming just inches above the wave crests at a blistering 60 knots. Their guidance systems weren't relying on GPS. They were utilizing optical terrain matching and terminal infrared seekers, rendering the Mason's electronic countermeasures effectively useless. The CIC aboard the Mason became a crucible of controlled chaos. Vampire. Multiple fast attack contacts inbound. bearing 045, range 5,000 yards and closing fast. The tactical action officer barked the commands, slamming the ship's defensive posture into extreme automated lethality. Because the Aegis radar was choked by the freighter's localized jamming, the Mason had to rely on its optical and localized infrared sensors to paint the incoming targets. The ship's 5-inch Mark 45 lightweight gun swiveled with robotic fury, unleashing a relentless barrage of air-bursting fragmentation rounds. The night sky ignited into a lethal grid of shrapnel and fire. Geysers of water erupted around the incoming drones as the proximity fuses shredded the lead vessels into flaming fiberglass confetti. But the swarm was too dense, and the distance was closing too rapidly. At 2,000 yards, the ship's Mark 38 25mm machine gun systems opened up, their tracers carving deadly red arcs through the humid air. Yet, 3 of the stealth USVs slipped through the kinetic wall. Of lead, their explosive payloads primed to tear a catastrophic hole in the Mason's waterline. Then, the U.S. Navy unveiled the future of naval warfare. At 0231 hours, the Mason authorized the deployment of its high-energy laser with integrated optical dazzler and surveillance Helios system. Mounted silently atop the superstructure, the 60-kilowatt directed energy weapon didn't roar, it didn't flash, and it didn't require ammunition. It simply pointed and erased. A highly concentrated beam of pure photonic energy, invisible to the naked eye, locked onto the optical sensor of the first incoming drone, instantly boiling its internal circuitry. The beam then shifted, focusing directly on the fuel payload of the second and third drones. In less than 3 seconds, the intense thermal blooming caused the explosive payloads to violently cook off, vaporizing the remaining threats in twin, deafening fireballs just 400 yards from the destroyer's hull. The surface threat was momentarily neutralized, but the tactical officers in the CIC weren't celebrating. They knew the drone swarm was just the fixing force. The real killer was about to drop from the stratosphere. At 0236 hours, an E-2D Advanced Hawkeye, orbiting at 30,000 feet far outside the jamming bubble, transmitted an emergency, high-priority data link burst directly to the Mason via an ultra-directional laser comms link, bypassing the radio frequency jamming entirely. The Hawkeye's powerful AN/APY-9 radar had just detected a massive thermal bloom launching from a Mobile Transporter Erector Launcher, TEL, deep inside hostile territory. It was an Al-Fatah II hypersonic glide vehicle. This wasn't a crude ballistic missile. Boosted into the upper atmosphere, the glide vehicle detached and began a terrifying, unpowered Mach 6 descent, surfing the atmospheric boundary layer, executing aggressive, unpredictable, evasive maneuvers that mathematically shattered traditional intercept algorithms. And its target wasn't the Mason. The missile was riding a reflected targeting laser beam being painted directly onto the massive, volatile hull of the Colossus Vanguard by the very same EW container hidden on its deck. The Proxy forces didn't want to sink a destroyer. They wanted to detonate an LNG superfreighter next to one, creating a thermobaric blast radius that would instantly vaporize the Mason, incinerate its 300 sailors, and create an ecological and economic catastrophe that would physically shut down the Red Sea for a decade. The hypersonic vehicle was 180 seconds from impact. The Mason couldn't shoot it down because the EW jamming from the freighter was blinding the destroyer's SM-6 interceptor guidance links. The only way to survive was to sever the targeting laser on the freighter's deck. At 0238 hours, the most dangerous surgical strike in modern naval history commenced. Taking advantage of the thick black smoke lingering from the destroyed drone swarm, a single MH-60M Black Hawk helicopter, flown by the elite 161st Special Operations Aviation Regiment, Night Stalkers, skimmed mere feet above the rolling waves, operating in total blackout conditions. Inside the cabin, 8 operators from SEAL Team 6 checked their weapons, their faces bathed in the eerie green glow of their 4-tube panoramic night vision goggles, GPNVG-18S. The Black Hawk flared aggressively, hovering dangerously just above the massive, cluttered deck of the drifting Colossus Vanguard. The downdraft whipped the sea spray into a blinding vortex. Go! 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 The SEALs fast-roped onto the steel deck plates, instantly fanning out into a tight, 360-degree security perimeter. They were immediately engaged by a heavily armed detachment of mercenary security contractors who had taken the civilian crew hostage. The close-quarters battle, CQB, that ensued was a masterclass in compressed, hyper-violent precision. The suppressed pops of the SEALs' 5.56mm rifles cut through the deafening roar of the ship's active generators. Moving with fluid, lethal efficiency through the narrow corridors of cargo containers, the operators neutralized the mercenary guards in seconds, but the clock was bleeding out. 110 seconds to impact. The SEAL element leader reached the reinforced container, housing the EW and laser targeting suite. The steel doors were magnetically locked and heavily armored. There was no time for thermal torches or complex hacking. The breacher stepped forward, slapping a customized, high-density linear shape charge directly onto the locking mechanism. Breaching. 3, 2, 1. The specialized explosive detonated with a sharp, ear-splitting crack, directing a jet of superheated plasma that sliced clean through the heavy steel deadbolts. The SEALs kicked the doors open, tossing a 9-bang flash-bang grenade into the cramped interior. As the blinding light and concussive overpressure incapacitated the 2 technicians inside, the lead operator didn't hesitate. He raised his weapon and emptied a full magazine directly into the central server racks and the high-powered cooling units of the laser targeting array. Sparks showered the enclosed space as the screens short-circuited and died. The localized electromagnetic dome instantly collapsed, and the invisible targeting laser painting the ship vanished. Back on the USS Mason, the tactical screens in the CIC immediately cleared. The SPY-1 radar surged back to life, instantly relinking with the E-2D Hawkeye and re-establishing the integrated fire control network. Jamming cleared. Radar is clean. Target acquired. Track number 4412. Hypersonic profile, range 40 miles, altitude dropping. The tactical action officer didn't blink. Batteries released. Fire SM-6, Ripple 2. From the forward, Mark 41. Vertical launching system, 2 RIM-174 Standard Extended Range Active Missile, SM-6. Interceptors erupted from their cells in twin pillars of blinding, white-hot fire. Accelerating to Mach 3.5 within seconds, the interceptors ripped through the night sky, their active radar seekers locking onto the rapidly descending hypersonic glide vehicle. The geometry of the intercept was unforgiving. At Mach 6, the incoming vehicle was crossing miles of sky every second. At exactly 14 miles out, the lead SM-6 detonated its blast fragmentation warhead. The hypersonic vehicle, attempting a final, violent, evasive jink, slammed directly into the expanding cloud of tungsten shrapnel at over 4,000 miles per hour. The kinetic energy transfer was absolute. The deadly warhead was instantly vaporized into a brilliant, high-altitude flash of kinetic energy, raining harmless, molten debris into the dark waters of the Red Sea. A heavy, breathless silence fell over the Mason's CIC. The immediate threat was gone. The Colossus Vanguard was secured by the SEALs, its civilian crew liberated, and the catastrophic trap had been dismantled piece by piece. But as the sun began to slowly bleed over the rugged horizon, illuminating the oil-slicked, debris-filled waters of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, there was no cheering on the bridge of the American destroyer. The victory was terrifyingly close. The U.S. Navy had survived, but the rules of the game had fundamentally changed. The proliferation of peer-state electronic warfare, hypersonic glide vehicles, and autonomous stealth swarms had officially trickled down to proxy forces. The oceans are no longer a domain where the U.S. Navy can rely solely on size and intimidation. Every transit is now a potential zero-sum calculation, and the margin for error has been reduced from minutes to mere milliseconds. Today, the USS Mason proved that American training, experimental directed energy weapons, and the unmatched lethality of naval special warfare can break the most sophisticated kill chains on the planet. But the terrifying question remains: what happens tomorrow when the adversary launches 10 hypersonic missiles instead of 1? Do you believe directed energy weapons like Helios are the ultimate answer to drone swarms and hypersonic threats? Or is the US Navy falling into an unwinnable numbers game? Drop your tactical analysis in the comments below, hit the like button, and ensure you are subscribed to Navy Vector for the most intense, hyper-realistic military breakdowns on the internet. See you on the next patrol.